Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Go check out my website at skysworld.com if you want life coaching or mentoring. It's Wednesday. Let's continue the Wednesday study group series. As long as I can get one or two of you to watch, I'll continue doing it. I don't think I have any new subscribers, so we don't really need to explain how we do this. Let's just get into it. We'll pick up where we left off on Sunday. I got my notepad here. We went over a bunch of stuff on Sunday. If you haven't watched the Sunday study group, go check it out. Let's talk about women. Modern women. The modern woman is happy, fat, can't be criticized, fragile. She's a feminine bully. You know, they invented cancel culture. Women invented cancel culture. That's where it comes from, is from women. Only a feminine man engages in it. The modern feminism is different than the previous waves of feminism. Modern feminism isn't just about equality, it's about domination. They're fighting for power. It's a massive groupthink. They view as men as the enemy. They're not trying to be equal to men. And that's odd enough in itself. Why would you think that you could ever be equal to a man? But no, they want a world without men. That's the modern woman's fantasy, is to be alone, financially stable, able to be a slut without repercussions or judgment, and fully doesn't need or want men in any way, shape, or form. Go look at that new Barbie movie. I didn't see it, but someone had told me all about it, because he has kids, and the review, it just sounded so twisted. And that's the world that Barbie lives in, is a world with no men, because that's what modern women fantasize about. And this is the weird thing is, I mean, it's no wonder that everybody's single and everybody's having a hard time getting together these days, because if modern women are so ultra feminist to where they are in a power struggle against men, they view men as oppressors, as dominators, as slave masters, then how can a modern woman fall in love with a man? I don't think she can. She can't have a father, a husband, or a son. She will be spiteful to any man in her life because of this worldview. She can't ever truly love her husband. A feminist can't truly love any man, because that man is part of the oppressive, dominating slave master group. And there are a bunch of group thinkers. And you're not an individual, you're part of a group. So if a feminist has a son, her son is basically a member of this awful, awful oppressive group. And all she can do is try to break his spirit, or to guarantee that he doesn't end up one of them, right? That he's one of the good ones, right? Maybe you're trying to prove yourself to women that you're one of the good ones, just like you try to prove yourself to minorities that you're one of the good ones. Oh, I'm not racist, I'm not an oppressor, I'm one of the good ones, I'm cool. Is this what you do? We definitely have a problem with modern women, and maybe it's a topic I should talk about more. I spend a lot of time focused on men, and maybe I need to make more videos about women. It's confusing to me how a modern woman can love a man, to experience love. All she seems to experience, at least from my perception, my ignorant perception, is hatred and this twisted lust for power. Let's go on to the next one. Talk a little bit about money. Bitches and money, that's what we're doing today. Flaunting wealth. The proud hate to humble themselves. Oh, they hate it. Some people really have this worship of money. That you can't have two masters. You can only have one. When you make money, your main goal, you lust after money, you worship money. You're so proud of your money. You love your money. You're so proud of being rich. Look at all those cars you have. That big giant house you have. You tell a guy like that to humble up, they just don't even know what you mean, man. I've known lots of people like that, and they always have the same story, and they talk about, I grew up poor, and I just feel good when I have all this rich stuff, and this is how I express myself. It's a superiority complex that these rich boys fall into. Rich women too. Rich people in general. Rich folk always think they're better than you. They always do. I've never met a rich person once who felt that he was on the same level as a poor person. They all have this superiority complex. Well, why can't you just go out there and make $1 million? I do. They talk about money as the only goal. Money is the path to happiness. I won't be happy unless I'm rich. That's what they tell themselves every single day of their lives, wasting their lives, chasing something that doesn't even exist. Money doesn't even exist. You say, yes, it does, and you can pull out bills of your wallet, but money is an idea. Money isn't something that we mine for. We don't use gold as money anymore. We don't use silver as money anymore. We use paper money. You know why we started using paper money? We used to use what they call specie, which was gold coins, silver coins, metals that actually had value to them. But then it turned out that Africa and South America and parts of Asia, these third world shithole nations, especially Africa, that they had all these gold mines and diamond mines and silver mines. Fuck that. We can't let those motherfuckers have all that wealth. So we had to figure out how to keep our financial dominance. And that was through the creation of this fantasy money, this paper money, this debt note. Money is worthless. Money is useless. Money means nothing. When the economy collapses, all those millions of dollars you have don't mean anything. Your bank account full of 30 million, 40 million, $1 billion. When the economy collapses, Elon Musk is no different than me. Are you, Elon? You know, he's watching this channel. Some of you guys may want to know that. We got Elon Musk on here. The proud hate to humble themselves. Let's go on to the next one. If you're going to buy a house, this is just my personal opinion, it's important to get a house that you want, to get a house that's rather new, at least in good condition, have it inspected. Don't buy it if it fails inspection, or at least be aware of what you're getting into and negotiate accordingly. However, the actual structure, the walls, the roof, the floor, the actual structure on that property, at least in my personal opinion, has less importance than the actual land itself. I realized this when I bought my house and I started building on my property, and I realized, wow, I have property. And I could just go get a zoning permit and build a structure. Building a structure, at least back when I started building on my property, I know it's changed, but you could get concrete rather cheaply. I contracted the entire build from the foundation up to the roof. Every aspect of it, I had it done. I didn't hire a contractor to build that building. I can contract a building. And I really realized when I'm paying for concrete, paying for a truss, paying for lentils, paying for framing crews, that the house really isn't that expensive. It's the land, and the land, it really is what's important. So when you're going to buy a house, pay extra attention to the location and the size of the land, because that's ultimately what matters. Find yourself with a big yard and a small house on it. It's the perfect setup. You can always build. You can always add an addition. My grandfather, he's still alive. He's 99 years old, and he lives up in D.C., and he has a great big mansion. And you say, wow, how lucky of you. Your grandfather's super rich. Well, look. My grandfather owned a recycling company in Virginia and started from scratch, picking up cans on the side of the road. And he got himself a piece of property, and 50 years later, he had one of the largest recycling corporations in the state of Virginia. My grandfather bought a giant piece of property very close to D.C., right outside of D.C., in a very desirable area. This was back in the 50s. He bought that piece of property for $50,000. It had a tiny little bullshit-ass house on it. Well, he added and added and added, and over the years, he kept adding additions and added a floor and knocked a portion of it down and rebuilt some of it. And you go drive by that house now. It's this amazing big giant house. And it's just still the same piece of plot of land that he bought. I'm going to the next one. Let's talk about women again. Why are women so angry? Why do they feel oppressed? Because they're not equal? But you can't be equal. And you don't carry the same load. You don't have the same risk. It's interesting because I'm working class, my family's been working class, and the working class builds everything. I make stuff out of metal for a living. I'm not monetized on YouTube. I literally do these videos out of my spare time just because I feel like it. Nobody ever watches them. I own a motorcycle shop. We fabricate motorcycle handlebars. Those handlebars you're holding on to, it's a very good chance I made them. Someone's got to make them. We make them. Men make stuff. Men have made every single thing on this planet. We make cars, we make the metal that goes into the cars, we mine the metal. Every process. Then we're the salesmen that sell the cars. We're the mechanics that fix the cars. You can pick any item and it's the same way. You ever heard of a book? We invented books. We invented writing. We invented language. We invented pens and the printing press and glasses so you could read better. We invented the whole process. You ever read a book? Go thank a man. Why don't you have bears coming into your house every day? Because guys made houses strong enough to withstand bears. Why don't you have the King of England coming into your house and slapping you around and conscripting your place and saying, well, my soldiers are going to live here now. You can't do nothing about it. Because a bunch of men had a revolution and defeated the largest empire on the planet. A bunch of farmers. So I'm not exactly sure why women are so angry when men fight and struggle and survive through that struggle every single day with one thing in mind, and that's to create a world for women. Why did men create this entire planet? Why don't we still live in caves? Because of women. If there were no women in some weird magical fantasy land, and if somehow men could survive without women, all we would have is caves. We never would have left the caves. We're perfectly happy. Any guy is perfectly happy on a fucking camping trip. He doesn't need any of this shit. He just needs a fireplace and a knife. That's all any man ever needs. We built the whole world for you and you're angry. Why? What the fuck is up your ass? I don't know. It's all food for thought. Have a good Wednesday.